Renee, are you ready? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'd like to call this morning's meeting of the Orange County Transportation Council Policy Board meeting to order. And I'd like to start with the in-room introduction. So I'm Alan Sorensen, Commissioner of Planning for Orange County, MPO Director, also representing the County Executive this morning for the Transportation Council.
I'm Stacy Butler, Deputy Commissioner for Orange County Planner.
Jacob Dewey, City of Middletown, Commissioner of Public Works.
Tony Cardone, Supervisor, Town of Monroe.
Jason Morris, Commissioner of Public Works, City of Newburgh. Charlie Carnes, Town of Crawford.
John Ravello, Village Manager, Village of Walden.
Sweden, Supervisor, Town of Walden.
Gary Spears, Supervisor, Town of Deer Park.
Sandra Johnson with New York State Department of Transportation.
Raina Twio with OCTC.
Other persons present?
Joshua Jahowski, Town of Laurel.
Denise Quinn, Town of Liliana.
Rob Harrington, Orange County Department of Planning.
Travis Ewald, Commissioner of Orange County Clerks.
Michael Weeks, MHE Engineering, here for City of Port Service.
Hey, Raina, if you'd be so kind to read off the online participants into the record, please.
Absolutely. So good morning, all. I hope you all can hear us. Can everybody hear us? Bert, I know you're not on mute, so can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Excellent. Well, we have Bert Thielander on with us, as well as David Lake. We have Gadaya, Corey McAllister. Hi, Corey from NISDOT. We have, I have phone number 347-844-1149. If you could just write your name and affiliation in the chat or unmute yourself, let us know who it is. I think it's David. I'm not sure though. We also have David Lake on the line, as well as Moesh Gruber. And I believe that is all for our online participants. Again, if I did not call your name, please just feel free to write it in the chat along with your affiliation. Thank you so much.
Raina, thank you. So we have our quorum. I'd like to move on to a call for citizen participation. Are there any members from the public who would like to speak?
I would, Bert Thielander.
Okay, Bert.
Shall I begin?
Yes, sir.
So I really want to thank the Planning Department, Parks Department, and other county staff for organizing the long-range transportation plan. I wanted to highlight a couple of components that the Pathways Committee, which is you know about that group in Orange County that promotes non-motorized transportation. I really want to support funding for the bikeway vision. I know it's been presented to the legislature in committee meetings. The Pathways Committee wants to promote funding by county, state, or federal agencies, and we really want to support that funding by the county. We've talked with Tom Fagione and others about that. And there are a couple of goals, goal 3 and goal 4. Goal 3, page 19, goal 4, page 20, that talk about climate change, environmental stewardship, and sustainability, because as we all know, there's a lot of need to address climate change and reducing use of fossil fuels. And we believe the bikeway vision will move that forward. There's also environmental mitigation described on page 128, which I think is important to highlight. And then the other component that we wanted to mention was the performance management. There are goals, objectives, targets on page 9, which we hope guides OCTC's evaluation of this long-range transportation plan. And one final suggestion we would have, there's a component about transit networks and bus use. We really would promote like purchase of electric or hybrid buses, again, to reduce fossil fuel use. So again, my sense is the report is very well organized, and we thank all the work that has gone into that. and thank you for the opportunity to make recommendations to you.
Bert, thank you. Are there any other members from the public who would like to speak? Okay, I just want to acknowledge that Gedalia Sigden has joined us. I'll just, one last call for public comment. Okay. Hearing none, that will close the call for citizen participation. Next on the agenda, going to ask for approval of the meeting minutes. We have the meeting minutes from the September 20th, 23 policy board, and we've also provided for reference for this meeting our meeting minutes from the October 24th planning committee meeting. Are there any?
Motion on the September 20th.
Okay. Motion, Tony, for the September 20th minutes. Ask for a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Jacob? Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll ask for motion. All those in, I'll ask for call the question. All those in favor? Okay. Those minutes have passed. Now, we've provided the October 24th, 23 Planning Committee meeting minutes more for reference because those minutes inform most of the resolution, all the resolutions that are on today's agenda. So that's there for reference. I'll defer to the board whether they would like to take action on those minutes today, or we can also move it to the next Planning Committee meeting. So. All right, I'll ask for a motion on the minutes. You want to vote?
Sure.
Make that motion.
Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I have to abstain. I was not present.
okay. Rainey, you'll make a note, please. Okay,
Absolutely.
okay. Very good, thank you. That's, well, we're gonna have a busy agenda again in January as we introduce the Unified Planning Work Program. And we'll probably have an update at that point on Bridge New York. So appreciate getting those meeting minutes out of the way. Communications and announcements. We provided to the members the 2023 year-end obligation report. Just kind of a snapshot of where things stand. And it's provided for informational purposes. Raina, are there any other communications and announcements?
Was there anything you want to go for Bridge New York?
I'll cover that in
Later
the
on.
next section.
Yes, or no, I believe that was all just for your end obligation report.
Okay. All right, so moving right along, I'm going to go into reports and actions on old business. First item on the agenda is the TAP CMAQ CRP. There's funding up to 5 million. And the applications are due January 9th, 2024. When I say that, it's funding up to 5 million per project. So there's more than 5 million that's available statewide. And these are a variety of different projects. This, in coordination with state DOT, there's been established a committee to review the applications, and I'll be one of the members that's serving on those the review of those applications. Obviously, I won't be reviewing applications, any applications that come from Orange County. Just encourage the members. This funding comes out every 2 years. Excellent source of funding for bike pedestrian infrastructure. Non-motorized transportation, and if you have, just encourage you to, if you have a project, to get your applications in. Next, I wanted to talk about the Bridge New York program update. We received notice from State DOT for this, I was going to call it the next round, but this current round now of Bridge New York. And OCTC, we have available 6.35 million for the Bridge New York program. The deadlines for bridges are January 26th of 2024, so it's coming right up. And for culverts, January 29th of 2024. And what I wanted to facilitate is a conversation amongst the board with respect to our off-system bridge funding. We have off-system bridge block pin in the amount of $4.11 million for fiscal years 23 through 27, programmed in our TIP. And what I would like to consider or have the board discuss is rolling the 4.1 million of our all-system bridge funding into this current round of Bridge New York to make more funding available. If there's consensus to do so, we would this afternoon just send an updated notice out to the members that this additional funding would become available. And that would give us a pot of approximately 10.45 million available for Bridge New York. So rather than, I'm putting it out there for discussion purposes. I see, some benefits of doing that is, we would be able to reach more bridges, and also have some projects moving forward through the pipeline so that as additional funds become available, we won't be overwhelmed with the next round of projects and review.
Do you have a list of bridges now that are seeking funding?
I don't have a list of bridges that are seeking funding. We have I guess from the last round of Bridge New York, there's a number of bridges that didn't reach the funding level. So, and there are some very good projects in there. So those would certainly be, bridges that would be considered. And any other bridges, that municipalities may have programmed in their work.
Can you give the definition of a bridge versus a culvert?
I think, well, yeah.
It's anything.
What's that?
Anything to span more than 20 feet would be a bridge, anything under is a culvert.
Span
Yep.
across the roadway? The width. Or the
No,
width
length.
of what?
Yeah,
From
Width.
abutment
the
to
width from like
abutment.
abutment to abutment.
Okay. I think it's a great idea for whatever, I would support it. Yeah.
If we pool the money, would that help the culverts or wouldn't affect the culvert amount?
Culverts aren't eligible for the
Sure.
block that
Okay.
you guys have available on TIP.
Okay, so the culvert would stay the same and
Yeah.
then the pool would get bigger for the bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
thank you.
Alan, are you planning to partially fund bridges or entirely fund them?
You have to entirely
Sure.
fund them.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't
Thank
want
you.
to put partially funded
Right.
projects on the TIP.
I
I don't
agree.
even think that that's let us do that anymore.
So the 4.1 off-system bridge money is what we have unallocated, correct? Through what
That
year?
is correct.
Through when? Through the end of the TIP?
Yes.
Yeah. And with the TIP update coming probably next year, we'll be adding 2 more years of funding onto the existing TIP. So there is, more funding coming essentially. So it is really important for you guys to program this. And I think there's such a good process in place for selecting the Bridge New York candidates. We have review teams, there's standards, there's an application process. It's really a resource saving effort, if you combine the
Yes.
two.
So you need an action from this, vote from this committee
Yes, I would.
or just administrative from your
Well,
end?
I think I should ask for a vote, just so we have it formalized. Clearly, I don't have a resolution drafted, but I think if we have an affirmative vote of the board, I think that should suffice. And then if the board agrees to rolling in the 4.11 million, we'll update our notice that went out for Bridge New York. We'll get that out this afternoon so that all the members are notified of the additional availability of funding.
What's the downside? I don't see a downside to doing this.
No, I don't. There's probably
Yeah,
one we'll
that's good.
stumble across.
I haven't thought of
agree, I don't see one either. I would just say the only other thing you probably want to clarify is, that you're gonna follow the planning process and confirm that you'd be looking for applicants to resubmit applications if they,
Oh, yes.
I just would say, you know, from that previous list,
Thank you.
that folks should plan on resubmitting.
Okay.
So that, and to do it through the New York, Bridge New York program. So everything will get sent to the Bridge New York email. You know, and our office is working with your office on making sure we pull everything together.
Yeah, really, it's a big help to us in terms of our limited resources in-house. So we're able to leverage that. The only downside is I'll have a few more applications to review. So,
Yeah, potentially, right?
I'll make the motion then to approve it since there's no downside that we know of.
I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Done.
Anyone
You
opposed?
got it.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving right along. Just in terms of an update, there is new 2024 Federal Highway Administration greenhouse gas performance measure rule that is going to require the adoption of greenhouse gas performance measures. Tomorrow, we'll be attending a webinar that's being sponsored by the FHWA to learn more about the requirements. As we understand it, the state adopts the measures by February 1st of 2024, MPOs by July 31st, 2024. One caveat, since we're part of an urbanized area, we need to create a joint target for the UZA, which we'll do through the Mid-Hudson Transportation Management Area. So working with our partner agencies over in Ulster and Dutchess. It is anticipated the MPO standalone targets will be adoptions of the state target as we do with the safety targets. So we'll learn more about this tomorrow. And we're going to have a follow-up meeting with our TMA to come up with a process for moving forward.
Just on all reports,
Uh,
agenda.
oh,
Yes.
yeah, well, I have few more items and then I'll get to other member reports. Unified Planning Work Program, as you know, it's UPWP time of year. We are working on updating the UPWP, which will be presented to the council in January. We need to submit it to DOT February 1st. And we'll have a planning committee and a policy planning committee early in February, and then the policy board February 26th, following the 14-day public comment period to adopt the UPWP. There'll be some initiatives that we're looking to include. One will just be to add some narrative with the paving software for DPW. So we want to add some additional funding for that. There has also been a conversation about conversation request from the village, town of Montgomery, about doing a truck bypass study. And so that may be a project that I'd like to add to the UPWP. I'll be honest, we have a number of other projects, and I made it very clear to the town village that we also need to get off the ground. We have the countywide transit feasibility study that's already programmed. We have the Route 17M, Route 6 transportation corridor study that we got to get an RFP out. But, you know, it would be good for us, I think, to include that as a project in the UPWP update. So we'll work on that. We'll have that'll be presented to the council for consideration in January. And then
Alan, quickly, we have a comment from David Gilmore. If I got that right, Dave? The call for projects for the UPWP is already underway, he asked.
call for projects?
Yes, so we did receive the call for projects for the
Yes,
UPWP
yes,
24 to
yes.
25. So it is, currently, we are beginning the process, Dave, to
Yes,
answer your
yeah.
question, if I can, Alan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We are beginning the process of the adoption, the formal adoption process. So in January is where we provide you guys with the presentation on the UPWP for state fiscal year 2024 to 2025. That's what the call letter is that we received for. So upcoming state fiscal year.
Yeah, if any of the members have a project in mind, in terms of, keep in mind for planning purposes, we can't do engineering or design, please let us know. All right, two other items quickly, safety analysis discussion. 2023 New York State Highway Safety Plan was just adopted. So an MPO safety plan is already in our UPWP. Funding is programmed for that. And in adopting a safety plan will certainly enhance our opportunities to seek highway safety funding. So that's another plan we have yet to get off the ground. That's in the pipeline. And our goal for 2024 will be to get an RFP out and retain a consultant to assist us with the creation of the MPO safety plan. And last, I'm going to ask Stacy to give us an update on the LRTP.
The 2050 LRTP is scheduled for approval today, the resolution. And we're also going to incorporate the safety targets from DOT as well as our operators for under Transit Orange. That'll become a part of it and our coordinated plan. And then with regard to any future projects, given the fiscal constraint requirements, if they're not already programmed on the tip, we would end up doing an amendment to the LRTP to add them to the fiscally constrained list.
Any questions on the LRTP? I just want to take a moment to really compliment Stacy, Raina, folks at DOT. Stacy really keeping the whole project on track for me, so thank you for that. We worked with our consultant team to develop the LRTP. I think it's a very thoughtful document. A lot of time and effort went into trying to get everything right. And I think it's a document that is very forward-thinking and will serve us, as we plan for projects in the future. So I just want to compliment the team and encourage all the members to take a look through it. I believe it's a document that we'll reference as we look for projects in the future. And I think it will also help us as we pursue Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act competitive funding opportunities. Because it's, again, a document that's forward-looking and will substantiate the support for such projects moving forward.
And can I just echo what Alan is saying? I mean, I do a lot of reading of reports in my work, and this document is well organized. There's goals. It makes a lot of sense, and it'll really have a lot of benefit for the county and the region if we adopt it. So thank you.
Or thank you for that. So that's really all we have on the LRTP. I'd like to just pass it around to other members. Any other member reports? Any projects that you'd like to provide an update on?
I was just gonna ask how the Scunnamunk Trail's going. I don't know if any updates from that.
Which one?
Scunnamunk Trail?
Oh, okay. It's moving forward. We're in a process of doing our due diligence, we being the county in terms of the property acquisition. And so that's, very far along. We have again, I want to thank Stacy. We have very well thought out RFQ developed for the design consultant. That's being reviewed by council as we speak, and we're hoping to get that out in the next few weeks. So our anticipated, I feel every time I give an update in terms of like we're at timeline, I'm like kicking myself, but the goal at this moment is to get through the design phase in 2024. So early in 2024, retain the design consultant, get them to work, get everything designed, and get out to bid in some early 2025. So we're knock on wood, and that's the goal. The funding is there, so it's
Is this a project on the tip?
it is on the tip. Yeah,
Have you gone through the environmental process yet?
we've gone through NEPA.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do, you have design, oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
So
that you're just getting an engineering firm on board for final design?
yeah,
Yeah, that
yes,
shouldn't only take-
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what I said. I'm the eternal optimist.
Yeah, no,
And,
you've got your
Travis
environmental
is the
stuff done.
pragmatist.
Yeah.
Really, you are. I mean, then it's just the right, how many maps did you have a lot of, any right of way taken or?
Well, we were fortunate in that OSI acquired the right of way
Good.
from,
So you just have one then, one person you wrote,
yes.
so you enjoy, okay.
So it's moving along, and then we have some other work that's underway. We're doing a survey of a right of way the county's owned for over 12 years now, which is the Middletown, New Jersey right of way. So we finally it's never, I don't know why, but the county never had it surveyed. So it's being surveyed as we speak. And then we're looking at some smaller, calling them local connector projects.
Alan, is that the section that goes through Minnesota?
What's that?
Is that the section that goes through Minnesota? That you're
Yes,
surveying?
yeah. And also includes a portion of Waylayanda. So, yeah, believe it or not, it's never been surveyed, so it's important to have a survey of your property, so. That's been funded, and we've just completed the solicitation, just signed contracts with the surveying company to get that work underway.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Any other member reports or? All right, next I'd like to go on to new business, which are the resolutions. Just a little footnote before we begin the adoption, and again, I want to say thanks Stacy for just pointing this out. I just drafted the resolutions in the order that we discussed them last time, but procedurally, there's some actions that we're going to take today that actually become part of the LRTP. So I'll just read this procedural note. So I'm asking that we move resolution 23/2014 to the end of the adoption list. However, we're going to maintain the resolution numbering so that the board will adopt the coordinated plan, additional tip amendments, and the safety targets, which are all referenced in the 2050 LRTP prior to adopting the LRTP. So with that stated, I would like to start with, I'm going to ask for a motion on OCTC Resolution 2315, the adoption of the Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan. A motion?
Make the motion.
Okay, Mike, second. Jacob? Any further discussion on the coordinated plan? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those members in favor? Are there any members opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next resolution is Resolution 2316, and that's the adoption of our Transportation Improvement Program TIP Amendment. I'm going to ask for a motion. Gedalian?
Second.
Second. John, okay. Discussion? All those members in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next resolution is Orange County Transportation Council Resolution 2317. And that also involves our Transportation Improvement Program. This is for additional funding for the traffic operations, City of Middletown, PIN 8757.07, in the amount of $640,000. I'll ask for a motion. Mike, second. Anthony, and then all those in favor? And we got Orange County Resolution 2318, endorsements of the Public Transportation Agency safety plans. We discussed this at length at the October 24th meeting. Ask for a motion. In favor? Jacob, second. Mike, all those members in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. OCTC Resolution 2319, which is the endorsement of the 2024 safety targets. These are the New York State DOT targets, which are also used in the LRTP update. I'll ask for a motion. Jason, a second. Jacob, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Now we're going to go back to resolution 2314 to adopt the long-range transportation plan 2050. I'll ask for a motion. Mike and Barry. Okay, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Motion carries. And we have, I'm going to ask everyone to just hold their calendar for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, from 10 a.m. to noon. That will be our next meeting. And that is, not sure if we're doing a joint to joint. I have to think about that. Back to back.
It might be, it might be a
back-to-back
joint
planning.
planning and policy board.
So
I believe we might.
it probably will be
Yes.
as things are coming up. Yes.
Yes, so I believe it, we should have.
But we get numbers for it.
Mhm.
There you go. Okay, no, I thought we were getting stuff from Creighton Man. So,
We did. That was distributed.
that's this.
No, there was a report that was distributed to all the members.
Yeah, did you get it, Tom? I get it. I mean,
It went out.
You can always reset.
We'll resend it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty thorough. Any other items? Discussion?
well, can I just say something if we're done with this? Mike Sweeten, he's been with us for many years, very influential and active and hardworking member of this committee. He's been consistent, always adding positive things and holding everybody's feet to the fire to really, to produce and meet their commitments. So we're very grateful. I'm very grateful for him being around, and I wish him the best this month.
He's not leaving.
He's not.
No, he's not leaving, he's staying.
Last meeting.
So if that's the case, I'm happy that.
I have to say, Mike, I will say my first meeting here, you were a little rough on.
I'm sorry.
And I was like, okay, this is good. He's
hold it against me.
feeling, he's testing me, he's seeing, and I appreciate that.
It's
Because
been great.
that's right in line with what you're saying. That's absolutely important. It has been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Jacob, and everyone here. It's been an honor, and I will miss it, but I know you'll carry on with good work. Thank you.
Mike, I just want to thank you. Not only are you a voice of reason, but you've been a mentor, and the way that you bring the discussion to the table is always very, very professional and thoughtful. You come well prepared, and so you give us someone to look up to, and you'll be missed. And I'm sure there'll be times where I may want to reach out to you just for some guidance. So
Sure, we'll be in touch.
And you're a true public servant, you know, and like,
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
whenever you come to my office with a question or wanting something, it's so obvious it's for the better of everyone. And it's a pleasure to be involved in those types of efforts.
Well, I appreciate it. And we serve a lot of great people and government, villages, cities, are all working to just make things better. So it's a good thing. Very encouraging.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Well, make,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone online.
we'll see you guys. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, commissioners.
We'll stick around.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, those numbers.
Yeah.